Hello and welcome to the Justice Factor. Affirmative action is killing babies in places like Bloemhof and must be dumped. This is according to the CEO of the South African Institute of Race Relations. The Institute's Dr. Anthea Jeffrey joins me today with Jimmy Manyi of the ANC's Progressive Professionals Forum to discuss this. But first, we look at the week's top stories, and I'm joined by the Daily Mavericks, Ranjeni Munusamy, and the Star newspapers, Makhudu Sefara. Makhudu, Ranjeni, welcome to the show. Ranjeni, let me start with you. President Zuma, we've heard rumors that he's tired, he's not feeling too well, it's not the first time, and now he's gone into a hospital. Is this serious? Should we all be concerned?
I think it's just strange to see President Zuma being sick, because we used to him being extremely energetic. We saw on the election trail, and especially the final Siyanqoba rally. Him jumping on stage with Dr. Malinga and things. It's extraordinary for a 72-year-old man, and I suppose at some stage it had to take its toll. But apparently, he did also, since the beginning of the year, over 60 public engagements, public events. And they're not ordinary meetings where you just go into a boardroom. It's things that are draining, so I suppose it has taken its toll. The thing is that with the nature of these things, we won't really get to know what's his exact condition or what the complaint is because of doctor-patient confidentiality. But obviously, if it is something serious, I think the presidency needs to take the nation into its confidence and say what's going on.
Do you think we need to be taken into, the presidency needs to take us into its confidence yet? Or should we all move on and expect that people get tired? Makhudu?
No, I don't know. I think for me, the important thing is that the presidency must be clear in its communication about what's going on. Because if you recall, the ANC said, no, the president was taken in for routine medical checks. Mm-hmm. But then when you look at other information, you find, no, the president actually did attempt to read his speech at the ANC NEC legotla, but didn't finish, according to weekend reports. And as a result, had to go in, and they said he was going to be released, within a day. And then it extended to beyond a day. Now, when those kind of things happen, people sit and ask or wonder, what are we not told? And when there's that vacuum, all manner of speculation is unleashed, and the management of the communication around the president's health is actually very central, because it's not just about him. It's about all manner of things in the country. It's about all of us.
Indeed. Ranjeni, one of the things this tiredness and bouts of exhaustion by the president have led to people speculating, well, maybe President, and this was the big speculation, I think in January, February, after President Zuma was also reported to have suffered from some form of exhaustion, that, it is possible that President Zuma may say, thank you very much, I've done my bit, maybe in a year, maybe in 2 years. What happens if that does happen? Does Cyril Ramaphosa become deputy president? Does the ANC bring forward its conference? What would be the scenario one would paint there?
I think Cyril Ramaphosa would be the obvious person to take over in that scenario, but I'm not sure that President Zuma wants to let go halfway through this administration. I think that there has been so much damage to his legacy in the first administration that he will attempt to repair it this time. President Zuma likes to think of himself as being extremely strong and able to take on whatever comes his way. So I don't think there is something deep behind this, that there is a bigger plan for him. Well, from his side especially. There could be other people who are looking at it this way. But I think he is genuinely sick. And he doesn't like to show weakness in this way, especially when it comes to matters of his health. But, we haven't had a sitting president hospitalized before. We did have President Mandela at one stage when there was an ambulance in his driveway and the rand plunged. So even when President Zuma was sick, President Mandela was sick before, during his retirement. You saw the deep concern from the country about it. I don't know if we have the same reaction this time, but I think the presidency does have experience in dealing with this now, so they should be more forthright.
Okay, let's move on to another subject. Makhudu, Sefara, the ANC coming out yesterday saying that it's worried about the hand of white foreign nationals in the platinum strike. Do we have an idea who are these foreign forces? Why the complaints about the EFF's participation?
No, I think it's just really the ANC, the Tripartite Alliance, AMCU, and the politics of mining.
But there's a big problem here. If people are playing politics, we've had a strike that's gone on for nearly 5 months now.
No.
This causes huge damage to the country.
No, it does. But you see, if the ANC Secretary General is going to say that there's white foreign elements that are influencing this, he has a responsibility to say to all of us, this is what is happening. This is who they are. This is what they are doing, and this is how they are. To just merely accuse a third force, quote unquote, of this without necessarily coming up with facts to back it up is hugely problematic. But from where I said, there's also the politics of the Northwest. There's the issue about whether or not AMCU succeeds in its claim or demand for 12.5, because if it does, that has huge implications for not just for the NUM and COSATU, but for the ANC too. So from a certain perspective, it is important that AMCU should not succeed, because if it succeeds, there's going to be very serious implications.
So what does this mean? That we are not going to see a resolution to the strike then, because the ANC, what Makhudu is saying is that the ANC doesn't want the AMCU to get 12,500 or whatever increase it may get.
Well, I was in that press conference that the ANC Secretary General was addressing, and I found it rather bizarre that the top brass of the alliance was sitting in this room. And that is where decisions can be made. And the person who was acting as mediator, the new Mineral Resources Minister, Makhudu, was there. And their advice to him was to be cautious about this, and be careful of these other factors. And so instead of there being active intervention to say, look, we need to sort this out, we need to get past it, it's having devastating impact on the economy, let's try and resolve it. They've thrown in this rather bizarre fact. And, as a result, Ramaphosa is now saying, I don't know what's going to happen next.
Do you think he's been told, stop it now, you're near a resolution, stop?
Yeah, well, he's been told, Gwede Mantashe said as much, that such thing, collective bargaining issues should be left to the unions. It's not for the state to negotiate. But the thing is that this has been going on for 5 months now. At what stage?
The economy contracted by 0.6%.
Exactly. So, you can't expect, the unions and the employers just suddenly to say, oh, well, that was bad, but anyway, let's resolve it now.
But either way, I think the ANC and its alliance loses. If the status quo remains, the economy is in a very precarious situation, and that is going to be a reflection on the ANC and its performance in terms of its management of the economy.
But perhaps,
so
I'm not being cynical, but perhaps the issue here is that, we only have another election in 2019, so, it doesn't really matter.
There's local government elections around the corner.
And there's a possible formation of a workers' movement, and all of this builds into it, because although the ANC and its alliance likes to think that it's worker-orientated, this is showing that it's not really.
Okay, guys, one quick question, 10 seconds each of you. President Zuma gives the State of the Nation speech, another one this year, the second one this year. There's been a lot of talk about radical transformation of the economy. Please tell me what he means and whether I'll get some
Well, we tried to find out from Gwede Mantashe yesterday. He says, don't ask for we get bogged down on concepts. So, it's coming, don't worry. And this is extremely concerning. You cannot be operating in a vacuum where this term is consistently used, but people don't really understand what it is. And the thing is that it's not a surprise party being thrown by government. Business, labor, the civil society needs to participate to rescue this economy, and they need to tell us what they're doing.
Makhudu, your 20 seconds.
The big issue for this country going forward is the economy. So the next elections, are going to be won over what change has happened. And the ANC is in a corner, given the birth of the EFF, which has campaigned on the ticket of economic liberation and radical change and whatever they want to do to land and mining and banks. But the ANC is in a corner, and it has to say to the electorate that they are doing something, they are going to do something, and they in fact need to do that in order to render the other people effectively useless. And
well, we'll see if that happens. Makhudu, Sefara, Ranjeni Munusamy, thanks so much for your time. After the break, is affirmative action really killing babies? Stay with us.